Welcome to the Fighting on Film podcast, the podcast all about classic and obscure war movies, from the Normandy landings to the days of chivalry and swords. If it's been captured on film, we're going to try and cover it. I'm Robbie of RM Military History.
I'm Matthew Moss of Historical Firearms and the Armourer's Bench.
As you'll know, Fighting on Film and Warfare Media partnered up to give our listeners a huge discount on high-quality Cold War posters. But now there's more. Warfare Media also offers clothing and the chance to order OP4 DPM camouflage uniforms. Support the podcast and use the code FOF20 at checkout for 20% off your order. Don't delay, visit warfaremedia.net today. Hello, welcome back to Fighting on Film. This week we give you our thoughts on A24's Warfare. The film's plot surrounds a Navy SEAL sniper platoon providing fire support for a USMC operation in Iraq in late November 2006 in the wake of the Battle of Ramadi. Matt and I went to see the film last Friday, with Matt having seen a second viewing mere hours before doing the show this week.
So good I went twice.
Oh, I know, I'm so jealous. I'm currently babysitting my boy. It's half term here in the UK, and I was gutted I couldn't go again, but I will be going again.
Yeah, it's rare that I'll go and see a film twice, I have to say. Like, sometimes I'll think, oh, I'd actually quite like to see that again, but never go.
When was the last time you did that? Interestingly enough.
I was trying to think about that, and I couldn't nail down. I can't remember, you know.
Neither can I.
Can't remember.
I've not felt this way about a movie for a while. So I think I should get into the cast. I'm only doing the key names here. There's a huge ensemble of mainly younger or established or up-and-coming British and American actors, and all of the characters mentioned are Navy SEALs, unless stated. So we have Will Poulter as Eric. He's the CO. He's a BAFTA-winning British actor known for his roles in Black Mirror, Bandersnatch, Guardians of the Galaxy, War Machine, and Son of Rambo. Then we have DeFero Woon Atai as Ray Mendoza. He's the JTAC radio op. The character of Ray is based on the director. He's a Primetime Emmy nominee, maybe best known for his role in FX's Reservation Dogs, and will be in the upcoming Darren Aronofsky crime thriller Caught Stealing. Then we have Cosmo Jarvis as Elliot Miller. He's the lead sniper and corpsman. The movie was actually made for Elliot by Mendoza and Garland. Cosmo himself is an English singer-songwriter and actor. Credits include Peaky Blinders, Spooks the Greater Good, and The Alto Knights, the Robert De Niro crime film that recently absolutely tanked at the box office. Do you know how much that made?
I think the trailer may have confused people on that one.
It didn't even go over 10 mil, and it cost 60.
Good God.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's not good. Then we have Charles Melton as Jake. He's the second in command. He's a Golden Globe nominee. He'll be known to American TV audiences for his roles in Riverdale, Glee, American Horror Story, Hotel, and film-wise, it's Bad Boys for Life and Heart of Champions. Then we have Michael Gandolfini, son of the late James Gandolfini, known for being Tony Soprano, essentially. And he really looks like his dad these days. He's
he
getting
played
there.
Tony, didn't he?
He did.
In the prequel.
Indeed he did. So he plays USMC Lieutenant McDonald. He's an Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Company officer and a fire support officer. He's been in Ocean's 8. He played the young Tony Soprano, as Matt mentioned, in The Many Saints of Newark, Daredevil Born Again, and Bob Marley One Love, which has Sterling's in it, Matt. Saw the trailer.
Oh, I remember that. I saw the street scene. Yeah.
There we go. Then we have Joseph Quinn as Sam. He's the chief petty officer. He's a British actor known for playing Eddie in Stranger Things, and film-wise, it's A Quiet Place Day 1 and recently Gladiator 2. Then we have Kit Connor as Tommy. He's a light machine gunner, kind of the FNG of the effing new guy of the platoon. He's in Rocket Man. Do you remember SSGB?
I do. I remember being
he was in that.
Sorely disappointed by it.
I remember thinking Sam Riley was going to take the world by storm. And
he was good at it.
It never happened.
Yeah,
but there's still time.
But it was lacking.
It really was. It wasn't as good as it could have been. He was also in War and Peace, I think the BBC's adaptation of that, and His Dark Materials. Then we have Alex Brockdorff. Dare I say friend of the show, Matt? We've met him. We know him.
Yes, we've chatted to Alex a couple of times, haven't we? And I had a chat with him over Instagram about the film. Hopefully he might join us to talk about it at some point. But
love that. Love that.
But yeah, he was very excited that we'd seen it, and Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He spoke very highly of the experience of making it. So
I mean, it's
great
amazing
to talk to
rise from Alex, really. He plays Mikey, point man, and another LMG gunner. But from being a uncredited extra in Fury and a small role in Our World War, going on to being in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning and Homeland, to name but a few. So this cast is really chock full of really young, up and coming actors, and I think the production is just all the better for it. This isn't a tentpole movie. It didn't need a big name, you know. We haven't gone, get me
No.
Pedro Mescal, get me Paul Mescal, get me one of them boys, get me
Yeah,
Barry
exactly.
Keogh. We're not
Easily
in
could have
that.
tried, but
They could
well,
have.
I think that the beauty of casting a young cast is that it's more authentic, it's more real, and it's it undermines that classic trope of casts being just too old for their roles.
I agree. You're going to hear that word authentic a lot this week.
Mm.
So Matt, I think you're into production.
I am. So, as Rob mentioned, this is based around Ray Mendoza's experiences in Ramadi in 2006 with his team that was deployed in support of US Marine Corps clearance operations in the suburbs of Ramadi. And they set up an OP, an observation post, and they're providing overwatch for the Marines that are clearing buildings. And basically, what I find really fascinating about this, before I talk about the production side of things, is that it's a film that has been crafted from memory, from recollection. And the film opens with that, and it says this film uses only their memories being the SEALs that were involved in the operation. Then at the very end, the literally just before the very last kind of like copyright notice, it says this film is based on interviews with people involved and a handful of photographs. The film attempts to reconstruct the incident with as much accuracy as memory allows. And I think this is the real premise of this. This is the really interesting crux of this production, because what they've done is Garland, Alex Garland, the co-director with Mendoza, talk more about that in a second, has gone out and interviewed all of the surviving members of Mendoza's SEAL team and the guys that were attached, spoken to them, collected it, almost like in an oral history project where they've gone out and recorded, interviewed, and spoken to all these individuals. And then what they've done is they've cross-fed all these recollections and kind of crafted a picture, an
It reminded
understanding
me
of what
of
happened.
when you do documentary theatre and you compile a script from oral histories, written histories. You don't use any. It's almost verbatim theatre. This is what this really reminded me of. It has that feel.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And the whole point of it, as you alluded to at the very beginning of the show, is it's made to explain to Elliot Miller, who is Mendoza's friend and a key character in the film, who was really badly wounded, what happened after he was injured by this IED that exploded when their Bradley was exfilling the team. So just to give a little bit more context around the production side of things, now that we've covered off the kind of drive behind the production. Budget 20 million, we believe. And at the time of recording today, which is the 22nd of April, the film has a US and Canada gross box office take of 17.2 million, not including international take. So we're probably looking at the film's made the budget of the film back, but I don't know whether it'll have made back the promotional side of things.
I mean, it needs to make 40 mil to
yeah.
break even. Anything else is extra. And I think it will do that if you look at how much Civil War made.
Yes, exactly. Civil War being, I think, the third most successful A24 picture. I don't know whether it'll reach the same heights because it doesn't have that hype around it, but it has its own hype, I think. And
Yeah, I think it does.
I think
this could be, I feel like this could be a bit like Fury Road was, where it was a bit of a slow burn at the box office. I think this one might drag on and on and do its own thing, I think.
I hope so.
Mm.
I hope as many people as possible see this. Of course,
Mm.
this is a spoiler review, but we aren't yet getting to the spoiler parts, so we will warn you
Yeah.
when we start.
And
to
for fans, you've
talk
probably
spoilers.
noticed from the socials that me and Matt, we're riding this one. We love it.
If
I
you
don't care who
genuinely
knows
like
it.
this film, yeah. Oh God, we've been so looking forward to this for such a long time.
Yeah.
Um, but as I was saying, A24 production company set up in 2012. They got a bit of a reputation. Try and get that out. A bit of a reputation for making almost auteur, art house, interesting productions, supporting kind of productions and directors and writers that bigger production houses might not have gone with.
Maybe not. Yeah.
And
They're
of course,
definitely the BFI film club hipster tote bag
yeah.
wearing man
Oh God.
will say to you in the street, "Well, have you seen the latest A24? It's actually really good. You know, you really want to get to the theater and see it in person. You know, feel the IMAX around your skin. You know."
feel
Got a
that
bit,
tingle.
got a bit Bob Morley
Yeah,
there.
you did. So yeah, the directors are Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza, as we mentioned. Ray Mendoza himself is a 16-year veteran, U.S. Navy SEAL, with SEAL Team 5, and then was later a training instructor on the Buds course, etc. Before leaving to work in TV and film, he set up a kind of like a military advisory company called War Office Productions. And he's worked on, he's been military advisor on Act of Valor, Lone Survivor, Jurassic World, Mile 22, Emancipation, Outpost, and Civil War. And Warfare is his first directorial credit.
They're working on Lucky Strike, the new movie that the guy that did the Outpost has just
That's
wrapped
right.
up.
No, that's right. So there's kind of like sinews and roots and connections throughout this, I think. He's done some second unit work, I should say, on Terminal List, the Prime TV show with one of the Chris's. I forget which one. But this is remarkable considering that this is his first directorial effort, because I think he did a lot of the day to day on this. I know of only one scene in the film from interviews that I've read where he said that it was just too much for him, so he handed off to Garland. I'm sure Garland did lots of other directing within the scenes and stuff, but the scene where Mendoza's character is pulling Elliot back into the building, and his leg gets stuck on the on the door frame. That bit and the radio chatter and everything going on in that sequence, he couldn't, and he had to step away because it was too triggering. Which is remarkable, that you could recreate one of the most traumatic events of your life with such clarity and detail and effort, and not have to step away more.
I mean, for me, that they're like Peter Taylor and Clough. They just the team, the two minds they brought together on this. It's just something, really.
That was a football reference for everyone, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. American listeners, yeah. Look it up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a really good pairing, and the two sort of got to know each other through working on Civil War, which we've covered on the show and really enjoyed. Mendoza being the coordinator and consultant for a lot of the military sequences, especially the assault on the White House at the end of the film. Spoilers if you haven't seen that. And basically, through that relationship and talking, Garland has said to Mendoza, "I'd like to do just a film of this, straight a combat film, is what we would call it on the show." And Garland's kind of quoted by, I think it was Poulter, who said in an interview that he wanted to dispense with the Hollywood grammar of the war movie.
Yes.
So he wanted to step away from, the tropes, the understanding and the approaches that Hollywood normally takes with war movies, and come at it from a different angle. And we'll talk more about that later on, I know. But I definitely
say about that.
I definitely think they achieve it. I personally think they do.
Same here.
Continuing on with production, you got cinematography was provided by a chap called David J. Thompson, and this is remarkably his first film as cinematographer.
Incredible.
Which I could not believe.
BAFTA for best cinematography.
Honestly,
Oscar for best cinematography.
Some of the most striking imagery, and
he's in the conversation, surely.
Yeah. So as I said, his first credit as a cinematographer, but he's worked on a huge number of TV and films as a camera op, including Gettysburg back in 1993, Mr. Deeds, The Wire, Devil Wears Prada, I Am Legend, Life on Mars.
Love that film, by the way. I'll let you work out what one.
Hunger Games, Emancipation, and of course he also worked on Civil War, which is probably how he knows Garland and Mendoza. So that was really surprising. And again, the film kind of steps away from the norm in that it has no score. There's no score. It's entirely diegetic sound throughout the whole film.
Oh, Matthew, taking the words out of my notes.
It works so well, doesn't it?
Only one of us did film studies at A-level, though, I must admit.
I've been doing this long enough.
Yeah, get an honorary doctorate one day.
Hopefully.
I want mine from an ex-polytechnic for the real source.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
3-week boot camp was held and led by Mendoza with the principal cast. Actors that played the officers and NCOs were given a bit of authority on the production on the set, and they were, they apparently the cast had to ask Poulter, who I believe plays the officer in charge.
That's it, yeah.
Eric.
CO.
If they could use the bathroom. So there's, to keep that hierarchy, to keep that dynamic within the cast. And
apparently they all son of one of the greatest leading characters in Tony Soprano coming up to you being like, Will, can I go to the loo, please? Imagine that.
It works. And apparently they all banded together, and they've all got tattoos now. They all have matching tattoos.
Yes. Call on me, Eric Pritz.
Call on me. Yeah. Nice dual meaning there. I like it.
I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Filmed over 5 weeks, chronologically, interestingly, at the Bovingdon Airfields studios. They completely recreated the house and the street from Ramadi, from the recollections of Mendoza and his teammates, and from a handful of photographs, some of which we see at the very end of the film, where they post up some of the photographs of the actual individuals and the actual photos of the house they were in.
Blue screened as well. Pretty cool.
Yes.
You see in the post. Oh, I think BFI man's coming back into the room. He goes, actually, Bovingdon actually doesn't know. Actually is where they filmed Band of Brothers, actually. Just thought you guys might like to know. Thanks for that, mate.
Thank you, BFI man. Thank you.
Yep.
See you in the bar after this.
There's a BFI Flipwise Blu-ray on the counter as you leave. There you go.
You brought that with him, didn't he? What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
He gave me Vincent Price's 70s cooking show on Blu-ray the other day. It's actually amazing.
What neighbours you have, Rob? What neighbours? So yeah.
Enjoy that, Rob. It's for you, son. Enjoy that, mate.
All the way up from Hendon. Wow, can't believe it. It's travelled. It's travelled.
Oh yeah.
A couple of other little snippets I came across. They used loudspeakers to play some of the atmospheric sounds, like the people talking and shouting, dogs barking, that kind of stuff, so that the actors could react to them on set.
That's good. I like that.
So
quite theatre-y then. I'm saying earlier.
Kind of is, yeah. So that when they're looking out windows and stuff, it's kind of it was triggered by what they'd heard outside. I thought it was such a great little detail, and it really makes it more immersive for them, doesn't it? So it just makes it that much more method. If you
came across this, but Michael Gandolfini found I can't remember the chap's name on the production. It might have been the guy that Joseph Quinn plays, but there was a watch that James Gandolfini gave to the actual guy.
Yeah, it was Elliot. So it was Elliot when Elliot did a set visit.
Of course, yes.
He spotted it on his wrist, I think it was. And as you were going to say, like James Gandolfini had done I can't remember the name of it. Was it?
It was a charity, a veterans charity.
It was a
veterans charity. And he used to send watches to injured veterans.
It was like gifts. Yeah, exactly. What a wild connection that must have been.
Oh yeah, there's a great little clip you can find online of the guy that played Paulie and James Gandolfini in EDUs in Iraq in the mid thousands. It's such a time capsule of pop culture. But I thought it was a lovely little thing to sort of bring
great.
that.
That's great. And then just to round us out, firearms were provided by the International Studio Services UK branch. FV432s, which we'll talk about more later, stood in for Bradleys, and they were provided by Armageddon. An Iraqi researcher worked on the film, Adwar Al-Tai. Tim Chappell was a military advisor, and Brian Philpott was a military consultant. And that basically rounds out this week's production. Yeah, we're so close to release that we still haven't got some of the things we'd like to know. But there's a lot out there. If you go digging, there's a lot. And there's so many interviews and podcasts around this I've listened to and read through. I was able to pull a fair bit out, but I'm sure much more. I think once this, if this goes the way I think it will, and it becomes one of those cult movies like Black Hawk Down and Band of Brothers, we'll be learning things about production, for quite a while. Yeah, I think you're right. And it's to echo BFI Film Club man's thoughts. I will be getting this on Blu-ray the minute it drops, because I want to see those. I want to see those special features. A steelbook. Yeah. Oh, give me it. Anyway, so moving on, we're no retro review this week, because I didn't think there was one worthy of this movie. If I'm honest, I thought a lot of the reviewers missed the bloody point. But I will get that. I'll get onto more on that later. A little bit of an axe to grind with the wider film industry reviewing populace. But anyway, so on to this week's one-word reviews, and they came trickling in. I've got to admit, I think some people just were unaware of it being out. I think in the UK, right? At least in the UK, because I didn't see much advertising for it over here. No.
But never. But then again, we always say it, we live in a different era. If you don't watch big normal TV, terrestrial telly in this country, some of these ads can just pass you by.
That's true. That's true.
So Alex Haygarth goes loud. Photog Rob goes unrivaled. Chris Hughes, all one word, a show of force. Tom says Thursday, so I assume he said he was going to go Thursday. Ian May says anticipation. Grant Howard, anticipation. Paul Frogman, Jem Dudicu, innovative. Warfare Media, screaming. Robbie Maguire, breakout.
Collapse. Yeah. I think a lot there are people that hopefully are going to go and see it this week and this weekend. I would recommend it. I'm going to say, before we even reach the end of the show, I would recommend it.
Stop listening. Go now. Pause it.
Go and find it.
Go in, watch it, and come out. Anyway,
if it's 11 o'clock at night, take a tent, sit outside, and wait for the morning showing. Before we dive into Ali Tally, I'm going to say now that we're probably going to slip more and more into spoilers. So if you've been listening and you're intending to go and see it, now's probably a good time to pause, go and see it in the cinemas, enjoy it, come back, and then listen to the rest of the show.
But please listen to the rest so we can get some ad ref and keep the mics on. And that brings us in to this week's Ali Tally.
It's time for Ali Tally on Fighting on Film.
Call on me, on me.
Is that your Ali pick?
Is that not Ali?
The leotards.
No, I'm not that thirsty. Crikey, we got over that in 2003. No, but I did some digging actually. Apparently, at the time, the USMC, the US military at large, apparently loved that video. In 2006.
I can't imagine why.
No, I've got no clue. No, they all just like early thousands.
They like
dance
a 4/4 beat, don't they? That's it.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. Tapping the toes. Yeah. No, but that scene itself is just, it sets it up so well that they're all young lads drooling over this video that we all, if you're living under a rock for the last 20 years, know the Call on Me, Eric Prydz video.
I recall it. I remember.
I do.
It.
Yeah. I Bluetoothed it to my mate Sony Ericsson. It's that long ago.
Good Lord.
Yeah, apparently 3G. That was the big thing for 3G back in the day. Apparently,
Was it?
yeah, it really props it up as a medium to download and send MP4s. Yeah,
Incredible.
incredible.
How we've moved.
We really have moved on, haven't we? Anyway, but no, I love that opening scene. It shows all these lads. They're young. They're maybe raw. We don't know if this is their first mission or their 10th mission or their second tour or whatever. We're with them having this joyous moment of sort of camaraderie, and then we cut to silence, and they're in the street, and it's such a
That
it's
shot.
the only
That shot. The perspective of the two OPs moving up,
Yeah.
two sections moving up to go and take different OPs, and just
and his mate does the gesture, the little gyrate,
so good.
and his mate grabs him and moves him on. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's great. But no, I have more for Ali Tally, of course I do. So we're very much into this tactical GWAT, Global War on Terror for the cool kids out there, era. We have the mechanics gloves, which you see quite a lot on screen. Apparently mechanics sells more gloves to the military, apparently, at one point than they did in like the normal civilian market, apparently is where they sort of made their name, apparently so.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
The chest rigs, the sort of there's all different array of boots, but I really love the universal camouflage pattern digicam worn by the SEALs that was introduced in 2005. But I also love that the USMC are wearing their own. Gandolfini is in what I think is Desert Marpat marine pattern camo that was introduced in 2002 and is still in service today with the Marines in some capacity. They haven't all gone over
UCP's been mostly replaced now, I think.
Okay. Yeah. UCP has gone out of the way and everyone's gone to bleh, bleh, I'm gonna throw up multicam, multi-pack, whatever, empty, bleh, horrible, can't even say it.
MTB.
Yeah, disgusting, horrible, but just cool. That I'm not very familiar with that kit. I've become familiar with it over the last week or so. I've done a lot of heavy researching, just from an interested point of view. I think they nail it. It's all the little details of glow sticks hanging off guys' chest rigs. Like a pair of scissors in the top of a chesty. Just so these little details that really make something like that. This isn't like, I'm going to pick on it. This isn't like 12 Strong that was like, it felt like an imitation in a sense of the word. This felt something about this felt lived in it. I don't know if it's down to the age of the characters, the haircuts, everything just seems authentic. And then we have the
good costume design.
Very good. Not
costume
overdone,
production.
not underdone either. It feels true. And then we're into, the firearms. The M79.
We looked at each other like, hope he uses it. He doesn't, but
I think I touched your knee and just looked at you.
You did. We were like, because someone shouts, there's someone's M79s in here, and we're like, what?
We're like, but they don't do the thing that most movies would do. They don't, because it could be like Chekhov's M79.
I was about to say that, yeah. I was
Right.
about to say the same.
I thought any other movie would have had a scene where Ray would have whipped that out later on in the film, knocked a guy out of a roof or something, with it, and it'd be really cool.
Not that kind of film, is it?
Not
Exactly.
that kind of movie, exactly.
No.
It's all the better for it. Anyway, Matt, your alley picks.
The Casio G-Shocks, Rob. I thought you were going to mention them.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
If you heard a bleep earlier in the show, my one's up there.
Mine's in the drawer. It might go off. I've got an alarm set and I don't know why. Do you know who else noticed?
Who?
GQ. GQ has written an entire article about the watches.
Send me that. I need that. Bloody
I
love
know, yeah.
Casios. I think I touched Matt's knee when I saw the basic Casio, and then when I saw a G-Shock, I think I touched his knee again and went, I've got one of them at home. These boys know their
I
watches.
used to have one, but someone shot it during an airsoft game. So
Yeah.
rip.
Still bleeps though on the hour, so we got a good idea of when time is.
But yeah, so I think basically because SEALs are SEALs, they have a stipend. I'm sure that's not what they call it, but they have an amount of money that they can spend on personal gear,
Casio cash,
and put stuff together. So there's going to be lots of different nuances and differences and cool little bits. But yeah, back to the firearm side of things, we've got the full gamut of GWAT, global war and terror weaponry.
Yes.
We've got Knight's M110 semi-automatic sniper system rifle, which is Elliot's sniper rifle. The AR-10 patterned
beautifully
semi-automatic,
sand-coloured paint weathering.
The spray painted and flaking and picking off, and just beautiful.
No undercoat
Really
on
nicely
that bad
done.
boy, just straight on the polymer.
Then you've got the like machine guns. You've got the Mark 46 and the
MK18 mod.
and the Mark 40. I'll come to the Mark 18. Don't worry.
That's what Alfred Alex was running with.
No, it wasn't. Not at
Was
all.
it not?
He had the no.
They
He had a
look
Mark
so
40.
blooming similar.
No, he had a Mark 46. No, they're
Okay.
nothing alike. Nothing alike.
To me, they look similar. They're just big boxy machine guns. Like, come on.
No, so there's two different guns. You just
Oh
mixing
no,
up the
I've
marks.
got it monologuing, chaps. I'm sorry.
The Mark 46 Mod 0 is the Mini-Me, right? So that's the 5.56 belt fed, the saw.
Yeah.
And then the Mark 48 Mod 0 is the 7.62, the Maxi-Me, the 7.62 version of the Mini-Me.
No saws in this? I thought I saw a saw at one point.
That's
No?
the Mark 46. So the Seals have the
right.
Mark 46, which is a shortened barrel. It's like a slightly improved, product improved saw. That's basically what the
cool.
Mark 46 is. So Alex has a Mark 46, I believe, in the film. And I think Tommy is running a Mark 48. Alex might have a Mark 48. I can't remember. Anyway, but the Mark 48s in the film have slightly longer barrels than the 46s. So that's how you can kind of differentiate them. Because other than that, they look very similar from a glance.
I love talking of those machine guns there, I love the scene on the roof where the two guys are told to put suppressing fire down. And when they're exfilling back into the building, when they're getting, they just say there's overwhelming firepower. Hey, we can't stay any longer. They're throwing those guns around, genuinely like troops do.
You can feel the weight.
Yeah.
There's moments where you can see them shifting weight.
Yeah.
They're moving their hand forward and back.
But I mean, like just banging them against walls. You're dropping them, you're doing that kind of thing. You don't see that in films much. Usually the armourers like, don't drop that. It's expensive.
It's true. And when I spoke to Alex, he was saying how he pushed really hard to include that. So, I'll talk about it more in my favourite scenes, but he pushed really hard to include a reload in the sequence. But the rooftop sequence with the two gunners just is really, really good.
But this is the best SEAL movie going. We've said it on the show many times. There ain't that many SEAL movies, but this is up there.
It really is. It really is. There's everyone's carrying SIG P226s, which I think is Mark 25 in US SEAL.
Oh yeah, they say it differently, don't they? Yeah.
Well, they've selected different things. They have different coatings on it. They have the naval coating, and they all have a little anchor on as well. Claymores on the roof.
Beautiful.
I mean,
beautiful. And we hear them go off. We don't get to see them. We hear them. Incredible.
We kind of see it. Kind of cuts back to the front, doesn't it? Where they go off, and then you see the dust.
Just the editing choices in this are just sublime.
You don't need to see. You're told.
No. Yeah, exactly.
And in a good way. But you can really feel the weight of the kit when guys are putting backpacks on, doing a reorg of kit, taking the belts out of backpacks, taking smoke grenades out of pouches. There's lots of little really practical, nuanced, really authentic little details.
Yes.
That
I went on
you just don't get in other films.
Subreddit, a veteran subreddit, because I was looking up, reviews of the movie, and a lot of the comments were just saying how authentic they felt the movie was, and a lot of guys were saying that they found it a tough watch because of that, because it was so grounded.
I think so. I would not be surprised.
I've got friends of friends who are GWAT veterans who have said it might be a tough watch for them. And I think it's another power of the genre. I don't want this to sound crass, but if it can do that, then this is the power of cinema. This is the power of movies. And I know that sounds so wanky and trite, but it is another feather in the movie's cap that what the directors set out to achieve, they have done.
Oh, absolutely. It's worth just knowing that I really felt that the Iraqi insurgents kit was really quite good as well, from what we could see.
Decent.
PKM, AKMs, RPGs, GCOM chess rigs. A couple of them are in like full vest rigs.
Yep.
There's one we're running that's like, because there's this great shot at the end of the film where they all just emerge from the houses that surround the house, and they like stand in the street and they're like just kind of trying to understand what's going on.
What the hell just happened? Yeah.
Yeah, they've all got headscarves on, they're in jeans, got like just t-shirts. It is exact insurgent. It just they've captured it, and I think really all of the Iraqis you see, including the civilians, the detail with their costuming is really good too, because the first act of the film is you looking at local Iraqi civilians through the optic of a M110 sniper rifle.
You see it as the troops are seeing it. I love that about it. We don't cut back to a bazaar or a coffee shop with, the sort of insurgent leader going, "We must attack the sniper OP." It's really important. We don't get any of that. We don't need that. I don't need to see that. I've seen that in tons of movies where we cut to what are the Jerrys thinking. What are the op for this movie thinking. I don't need that every week. And this movie's the better for it. What about those aerial thermal imaging shots?
Yeah, the ISR drone shots are really good, aren't they?
That's how you do scale. That's how you do scale and achieve what film.
They pull it together really nicely, don't they? And it gives you that context. It's been done before over the years. We're 20 years on since the start of the global war on terror now, more than 20. It's interesting that the way that they stitch it together with the radio chatter as well. It gives you just enough context, but doesn't spoon-feed you the context.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to sound trite, but for the Call of Duty generation, guys, me and Matt's age, and almost like the age of the guys that were in the movie or in the battle, we all played Call of Duty Modern Warfare. We remember that AC-130 gunship mission culturally. And I wonder if that is a little nod to that as well, in a smallish way. Do you know what I'm saying with that? Like it's something about that.
I think culturally, when you think about it, that Call of Duty sequence was all driven by experience from the global war on terror anyway, and it's just this whole cyclical thing of really we're still really coming to understand and come to terms with the cultural impact of the war. A war that didn't touch the same number of people in the same personal way that, say, the Second World War did. But at the same time, it touched hundreds of thousands, millions of people, including you and I, who have never been to the Middle East. We've never experienced that kind of conflict personally, but we saw it every day. We understood it. We kind of consumed the media around it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And just quickly, those Bradley mock-ups, absolutely fine. I've seen some crass reviews and things this week of people going, "Oh, the tanks are wrong." It's like, well, who cares?
It might be a case of it's the wrong bloody tank, but does it matter? No,
it doesn't. It doesn't. Does the tank being wrong in A Bridge Too Far change the quality of that film? No. It's a funny meme at this point. The Bushmasters are not a mocked up. It is a trope. It might be the only trope in the movie.
You can just consider it a nod to war movies of old.
It could be the only trope in the film, to be fair. There ain't many.
If you need 2, 3, 4 running Bradleys, there aren't that many Bradleys in the UK.
Well, they're in Ukraine at the moment.
Well, yeah, some of them are. Not enough of them. But I think it's interesting that they decided to go with practical over a mock-up or a CGI, and I think that works. I think that the fact that they're able to clamber in, they're able to like bang their rifles into the side of it when they're exfilling and drag people into it. I think it's 9 times out of 10, it's not going to break people's immersion watching this film,
when they go off, just the sheer ordnance brought to bear by those Bushmasters when they go in and they do their show of force.
They aren't Rawdons either, so they do look like 25mm Bushmasters.
It's
So
mock-ups.
so they must have mocked up the turret nicely.
Yeah, they did. They did. Really, really nicely. And
really
just
well
before
done.
we move on to fave scenes, because we could talk about the alley tally all day on this, but the show of force little sections with the jets coming in, just fantastically done.
In the cinema, sat in the middle. This afternoon in a near empty. There were only four. It was a 1 o'clock showing on a Wednesday or Tuesday.
It was the hardcore were there, Matt. The hardcore were there.
Yeah.
You know.
The unemployed.
Don't say yourself short, mate.
I am employed.
Yeah. I am. I mean it. I really am.
Yeah, I've got worth. But yeah, it's sat in the middle in a relatively empty screen. The sound of that show of force and the visuals, so good. It's just really effective, and I think we'll talk about sound design when we get into a broader conversation about this.
I think we will.
Just incredible.
Yeah, and I think that brings us to favourite scenes.
Hello, I'm Al Murray, and you're listening to Fighting on Film, the world's #1 war film podcast.
Matt, I went first for Alley Tally, so please regale us.
It's really, really difficult to pick a favourite scene. It's really difficult.
Yeah.
If my monkey brain, yay gunfight brain, says the sequence, I have a couple, but it says when OP2 collapses to OP1, so the observation point 2 collapses to observation post 1, so the other SEAL section kind of moves across the suburb.
Yeah.
And we get this really kinetic, beautifully choreographed, beautifully shot, super well staged. Really,
that's when Jake and the rest of the lads fight their way across.
That's right. Yeah. So they're fighting their way to the wounded and P1 to assist with the Kazovac, and you get lads doing reloads. You get lads doing it's Alex. Alex takes a knee, takes a belt box off, puts a new belt box in. He closes the cover, and I watched him do it. And he sort of like he pivots around from a corner and runs across the street. And as he's running across the street, he runs the cocking handle on the saw. And then when he gets to the other side of the street, he fires a burst into some balconies, and it just looks great.
The drills are fantastic from the entire cast.
The drills are amazing. The 3 weeks that Mendoza spent with them and the other guys that helped with the training. It's all there in this sequence. You see clips
of Ray and at the end of the movie, almost showing exactly the cast exactly what they were doing, or what he wants them to do, and it's so great. But no, that scene is really great because you supersede that from that aerial shot of the gun cams or the sort of surveillance footage, and then and I thought, they're never going to show us on the ground, are they? That's going to be this movie's tease where they're not going to show you that, and then it cuts and you're with them. And I love that bit as well because it's not like your typical war film. You're not seeing insurgents running into the street and getting riddled and sort of falling down.
There's one shot where I think an insurgent takes a round to the leg and he falls back into an alleyway, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no payoff. You see lots of shooting, but there's no pickup shots of them showing
there's no Western Hollywood stuff here.
Yeah, it removes that kind of classic expectance.
Yeah.
There's a couple of shots that linger on guys that are just covering sectors. They aren't firing, and you're like your conditioned Western action movie brain thinks, why isn't he firing? Why is he not shooting for a split second? And you realise, well, he wouldn't be, would he? He's not going to be shooting all the time. And it's just that
you've got ammo to conserve.
Yeah, they've just decided to linger on someone who's just covering the sector and is waiting for a target of opportunity. And that in and of itself is again stepping away from that war movie grammar, that Hollywood war movie grammar that Garland wanted to move away from.
It's so good. So is that your favourite scene?
It's one of them. I mean, Jesus, I think the sequence with the IED is incredible.
That's what I was going to talk about. That's my pick.
That is the central pivot and crux point of this film, and it is so beautifully horrible phrasing, but it is so beautifully crafted on screen that it's incredible. But you lead off, Rob, and I'll chip in, I'm sure, but carry on.
When the ID goes off, the sound of the blast is one thing. the after effect of the sound as that ring lingers, and
And
there's
the
this,
muffledness.
the muffledness, the smoke, and you don't see an American soldier first. You see the Iraqi interpreter, who, by the way, Ali Tali were wearing chopped chip, pattern,
Yes,
Gulf
forgot to
War
mention that.
camo, absolute kings, and they were
Yeah,
wearing
Woodland BBU like vest.
M81 load bearing vests,
Yeah.
which is just incredible. I loved it. Anyway,
AKMs,
AKMs,
Pascat
yeah,
helmets,
really, really great stuff. I should have
skateboarding
mentioned.
knee pads.
I should have mentioned it in Ali Tali. Anyway,
We got it in. We got it. We remembered. It's
God,
fine.
I love chocolate chip camo. It's my favourite camo ever. So you see him get up, and he staggers, and he's using his AK to prop himself up, and he just walks off out of shot. You never see him again. I love that, because they're not that they were flaky, but they were like, "Oh my god, do you want me to get outside and cover the street?" Oh my god, really? Like they were just a bit like, "Oh, love that, really great." But then it's you cut to Porter, you cut to Cosmo Jarvis, you cut to Flynn, and you all see in staggered shots of how this art blast has affected them. You're not sure who's wounded. You're not sure who's going to come out of it. As the smoke clears, we learn that Elliot and Sam are the most wounded. And then there's this frantic, confused daze, but then having to snap back into action to get them out of that blast radius and back into the house. And then that's where the plot starts. It goes from being a sort of, okay, we're in the CP, we're covering an area, we know there's insurgents around, we're providing fire support. Then it becomes a Casovac situation. And we get to see how that is then the rest of the movie. But that IED scene is not only from a technical point of view, from a filmmaking point of view, and just how you show the effects of battlefield trauma in real time.
Yeah,
on
it's
young
unflinching.
men.
It's completely unflinching in that respect.
There was an interviewer who asked Mendoza, why not pull away from that? Why not pull away from men screaming and men hurt? And he says, I couldn't pull away. And I'm ad-libbing him there, but it made so much sense when he said that to the interviewer, and fair play to the interviewer for obviously asking a loaded question.
Yeah. Leading. He was taking the fall on that one, wasn't he?
He was taking the flak for that one. Yeah. Really was, for want of a better phrase. But yeah, just sensational. Really great.
Yeah,
not many war films would have lingered on that for that long. Just stunning set piece.
The screaming is there for the next 20 minutes.
It doesn't really stop, if I'm honest.
No, it doesn't, and it wouldn't, and it didn't. And the thing is, so when the IED explodes, the first thing you see is, yes, you see that one Iraqi army. I think he's probably like the NCO, and then his Oppo is on the ground with his liver out and his leg 3 foot away from him. The practical effect of that, very good. Then super harrowing. Then you have this muffled thump, and it's not the muffled thump of gunfire that you normally hear in films in this kind of situation. The sound design on it is so much more interesting. It's very different, and as it starts to change, Tommy picks up his Mark 48 or 46, belt fed, and as he starts firing, it's a squeak. The squeak that it makes is so interesting. That choice, that stylistic choice, can only be derived from speaking to people. Bullet cracks. This film does bullet cracks in a way that is incredible. I've never been shot at. I've been shot over at a firing range when I'm working on the butts, but I've never been shot at. But you can tell when you're being shot at by the cracks. And a lot of films don't do that because the Foley artists haven't got the time. The sound designers haven't got the time to do it. It's all there in this film. And those start to kind of punctuate the muffled kind of white noise that the viewer and all of the guys are experiencing. And what I really loved about that scene is the instant punch to normal, and the sound of Sam screaming when they cross the threshold of the house, and they get Sam inside, and he's screaming, and then when they cut back to Ray outside trying to bring in Elliot, it's muffled again. So it's what they've done is they've shown that the people still on the street are still in this muffled state. They're still in this dazed, traumatic state where they've just suffered a concussion,
Yep.
2 they're wounded, blast wounds, dust, anything you can conceive of. And it's not slow motion, but they're all moving in such a stunned way that it feels like it. And it gives you that sense that they were experiencing that moment in probably like 1/10 of the speed that it was actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
So the time between the IED hitting and them getting up and returning fire and getting in the building again was probably, I don't know, 5 minutes max, 2 minutes max. But it feels like 15 minutes.
Yeah, but in the aftermath and the way this movie deals with immediate trauma is something to be heralded, because Walter just says, "Look, I'm not right. I'm not right."
Well, that's something I wanted to talk about as well, because I think that is a representation of cumulative traumatic brain injury.
Yes.
Because he first says, "That claymore rocked me, man." When they blow the claymores on the top deck.
Oh yes.
He says to I think it's Sam. He's like, "That claymore rocked me, man," and he looks a little bit dazed. And then when the first show of force goes over, he's like you can tell he's feeling it. And then the IED blast is kind of like that's the culmination, the overpressure. And I think it's a representation of a TBI, kind of, because the way that TBIs work is, from my understanding, is it's cumulative. So you can kind of like the more kind of like overpressure that you experience near your brain, the worse it can be, the more disorientated you can become.
The movie does a great juxtapose to that, where the guys come in off of doing the run into the second OP collapsing and coming to them with Jake and the rest of the lads. They're so hyped up on adrenaline from doing that they inject this sort of odd, sort of bro-ish energy into the scene. And there's
they haven't experienced the same trauma.
No, they haven't been through it. So they're knocking Elliot's leg. They don't know the sort of extent of his injuries, and you've got, I think it's Ray going, don't knock his leg, man. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then they're giving morphine out, and there's this guy that's over, I think it's Joseph Quinn. And there's this guy over Joseph Quinn when they're sort of, I think they're giving him treatment or something, and he's like, hands on his face, going, you got this, bro, you got this.
Yeah,
and
he's the same guy that kicks his leg, I think.
Yeah. And Ray's like, we don't fucking need that, man. Like, come on. Like, but it's great to see like a different energy brought in from those guys who've just done that really adrenaline pumping thing. I really, really thought that the juxtaposing was fantastic, but I think maybe we should delve into final thoughts, because I think I've got a lot to say.
I think so too.
I'll kick us off, because I have one thing to say, and then I have some sort of axe to grind a little bit, in a positive manner, perhaps. So I'm going to say it now. I don't care if it's hyperbolic. Don't care if it makes me sound shallow. I was not paid for this review. This is my genuine thoughts. I think this is perhaps one of the finest films we have covered or may ever cover on the show. I think it is a masterpiece. However, to mention some of the criticisms of the film that I have seen online, not war movie genre, not people who've been in the trenches, they haven't seen the likes of movies we've seen on the show. You know, they don't understand
They haven't seen PT2 on have they?
They don't see the gristle and fat we chew through for our listeners every week, right? So when we get a filet mignon war movie like Warfare, and it's been basted in fucking butter, they don't know how sweet that tastes, right?
Yeah.
This movie is a masterpiece, if it's not obvious. But anyway, so some of the criticisms I've seen. Oh, there's no character development or wider plot. You're not putting a face to the enemy or seeing Iraqi insurgents getting hit, etc. One, I find the lack of character development one of the film's strengths. You'll put it right in there with them. There's not much character development in Saving Private Ryan. It's about an hour in. No one ever mentions that.
No.
Right?
You're in the boat with them.
You're in the boat with them. You're put right in with them. The black text, which I usually don't like as a plot device, although this story is pieced together from the real men that were there, we said at the start of the movie, tells you exactly what you're going to see. We've seen films try to ground themselves by doing the age-old tropes of men at home saying bye to their loved ones, saying, oh, I really want to get a Winnebago or cruise around Route 66 in my fucking Dodge Charger after the war, and then they're shot 2 minutes later. We've seen that. I don't need to see that again. This film is refreshing because of that.
I agree.
I don't need to... I'd love to know more about these men. I find them incredibly interesting, but the fact the movie didn't choose to do it is not one of its not one of its
failings.
weaknesses. No.
No.
And the face to the enemy thing, that they're not seeing the sort of other side of the wall. They're not making a big Pyrrhic thing on the global war on terror, because I think wherever you fall on it, you have an opinion. It may or might not be changed by this movie. It depends on the type of person you are. But I feel like with a film like this, you're seeing men do their job. They're not worried about the grandiose why and hows. They have a mission to do. It's their job. Whether they believe in the war, the wider context, isn't for them to tell us or us to think about in the immediate setting of the movie, right? And when's the last time that you saw a war movie that didn't show you what the enemy were all about? Even in like the shittiest sort of 2BB movie, you always get a side of the German commander being all evil, all the...
Yeah.
You don't need that here.
Well, my counterpoint with that is that, we often do get that, and it is just, it's just lip service. You're not really understanding. Take Black Hawk Down. You're not really understanding the motivations of the Somalis. You're not really getting their point of view from a couple of sequences.
No, exactly. No, it doesn't. It doesn't do enough anyway.
No. So the fact that it doesn't need to do that, and we more importantly, we see the experience of Iraqi civilians, and I'll talk about that later on.
We get that anyway.
But I think that is more important than seeing what the insurgents were doing anyway.
No, exactly. And I just think a lot of industry reviews, in my opinion, I think they missed the point of the movie, where they wanted to see this. I think the title threw a lot of people, right? Where they were going, there was a comment I saw on Facebook. I didn't reply. I wanted to. But I was like, we called it warfare, but there's barely any warfare in it. And then some guy went,
Talk about not understanding it.
Some guy literally said that. He went, well, you weren't there, so you don't get it. Have you been in combat? You don't understand. I've not been in combat, but if it's like that, I don't ever want to be in it. This may be one of the greatest anti-war movies of all time as well. It's
a human movie.
It's a human movie, exactly. And I think to round out my thoughts, before I let you jump in, it's hard to believe a movie this affecting and expertly made, some of the best sound design I think the genre's ever seen, in a 90-minute movie, by the way, right? Which is the gold standard for films, in my opinion. 90 minutes should be
the golden ratio, isn't it?
The golden ratio of film, right, is 90 minutes. To do all of what they've done in 90 minutes, then ground you right at the end to show you the real life Elliot visiting the set, showing the cast and crew doing what they're doing. Just superlative. I think I know you've mentioned it earlier. You said as we left the theatre, that's a new Black Hawk Down, give it time. And I said to you, I don't know how I'm going to review this, because it was just so good. And I've not felt that coming out of a cinema probably for like 20 odd years, if I'm honest. I've seen movies that I've liked and loved, but I've never gone to cinema and we were dead silent for about 5 minutes. We didn't know what to say.
Yeah, I know.
And I think movies like this don't come around very often. And I think Mendoza and Garland, I think it's a triumph. And I think this movie should get all the gongs it deserves and more. So yeah, Matt, before I, ride a bit too hard, jump in.
It's a true combat movie, right? So there's a differentiation to be made here. So it's a war movie, yes, but it's a combat movie. What I mean by that is, what I classify that is, on the show, when we cover films like this, they are films that look at the personal experience of combat and fighting from the perspective of the individual soldier on the ground. We aren't talking about grander themes explicitly, but they're there. The trauma, the experience of war, the interrelationships that are, built, destroyed, and fractured, and developed through these situations they're one of the more fascinating things about war movies. I think there's so much that you can tell story-wise through a war movie in terms of the human condition. It's quite staggering, really, when you think about it. And I think if you don't look at war movies below the surface of what they appear to be, then you won't fully appreciate that, I think, sometimes.
No. If you're going in expecting Black Hawk Down 2, you'll be disappointed. But if you go in with an open mind, as thinking not all missions are big gun ho firefights and winning.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, 9 times out of 10, they're probably not that. You know, like
Yeah.
it's stark in what it's showing you. You know,
It is, and I think we mentioned at the beginning of the show that Garland wanted to move away from the established grammar of war movies, and I think he does that. And we've already talked about the context, and I think the black text at the start gives more than enough context because it simply says a Navy SEAL platoon takes sniper positions in support of US Marines. That's it. We know who they are. We know what they're off to do. And I think the way the film has been produced in terms of direction, cinematography, set design, costume design, sound design is incredible. I think it's a rare film that has brought together all of these really complex moving parts and made something which is really special. They've not only told a story, but they've told it in such a way that it's fresh. It's different from what we've seen before. It has something to say, and it has something very fundamental and human to say. I was really struck by it. I was really, really struck by it. It has those sequences which are bombastic and, well, not bombastic, but kinetic and effective. And you see, big firefights and explosions. But it's not done in a way that glorifies war. It's not done in a way that...
No. None of this glorifies war at all.
That is, set-piece blockbuster type stuff. It's not that. It's just showing you a very realistic representation.
I feel like this is what Malick was trying to do with Thin Red Line, but couldn't get it done.
Well, this is it. This is what I mean by all of these complex working parts coming together to make something a whole. It's hard. It's really difficult to achieve. And I think this is one of the rare war movies, where, in general, where they've achieved that. And you come out going, wow, okay, well, that had a message. Yeah. It achieved it in such a way that I will always be affected by that.
I think so. I want this movie, and I know the way the industry is at the moment, we're not going to have it, but I want this to affect the war film in the way that Saving Private Ryan did. That's how strongly I feel about this movie. Like,
I agree.
I don't implore listeners to go and see something very often, but I think this is a must watch. Whether you go and see it in the cinema, whether you wait for it to come out on streaming, it's MGM, Amazon own it now. It will be on Prime probably within a month or two.
Yeah. I think it's an incredible addition to the Last Stand subgenre of war movies as well. This is the G What 9 Men.
In a way, we didn't do it because we don't like doing hyperbole on the show. We were joking. Is the war movie back with this movie? Is the genre back on its feet? We've looked forward to this film for a year since it was announced. We enjoyed Lee was a great
Civil
addition
War.
last year. Civil War was a great addition last year.
Blitz was great too.
Blitz was fantastic. We've had
They're
good
all
run.
very different war movies. None of those are combat movies.
No.
We haven't had a combat movie like this in quite a few years.
In a very, very, very long time. And long may it rain. Long may it rain.
Well, this is the question I wanted to pose. We've had a major lull. We've had a dearth of high quality war movies from Western major studios in recent years, and we've seen a bit of a retrenchment of the genre over the last decade or so. Will warfare mark the start of the resuscitation of the genre? Are we on the cusp of seeing $20 million well-made war movies again?
I would love that. In my heart, I'd love to have that. In my head, I don't know. If this movie made $500 million at the box office, if it made even 250, right? If it knocks it out of the park on the financials, you might get it.
I don't think that's the trajectory of it at the moment, I'm afraid.
No, I don't think that was going to happen. But I think for possibly the A24s of the world, Warp Films, who just did Adolescence. They want to redo Threads. Who's to know that doesn't become a feature release? Who knows? For the smaller studios, I think it could.
I will just say that end shot of the well, not end shot, but one of the last shots of the film with the Iraqi family emerging from the bedroom into the destroyed house is so poignant.
Really,
it's such a
really
poignant
is.
reminder of all of the civilians that were stuck in the middle of the the global war on terror.
It's almost an allegory attack. It's almost an allegory for the US turning up, or the coalition forces turning up, doing all that they did, and then leaving.
Mhm. Yeah.
I saw it as that. I know that could be quite heavy-handed, but
I think that's an
like
interpretation you certainly could make.
So that was our thoughts on A24's Warfare. It's out in cinemas, but me and Matt absolutely adore this film. Please go and see it if you're around a cinema. It's fantastic, just absolutely fantastic. So this week's last question was, what war film would you most like to see a sequel made for? So AD Bond goes with Wind Talkers. He says, I'm joking, of course. He says Ice Cold in Alex. Adam Christian says,
does the ambulance get stuck again? Maybe?
That'd be funny. There? Yeah. Maybe this time.
John Mills is just working his way through a crate of
Carlsberg or something. Yeah. Just update it. Yeah. Update it. Do one set in Granby and they're going to get like a car black label. Or something.
Crate of Holston piss. Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Adam Christian says Greyhound. I know it's not great, but good enough maybe. Well, apparently there are rumblings of a Greyhound sequel.
It's supposed to be in the works.
Apparently so. J McN, I've been told to say it's J McN, not JMCN, as I've been saying for weeks. As a fellow Mook, I should have seen that a mile off. I'm sorry. He says, easy, Dam Busters, tell the whole story and leave out the dog. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm. John Harris says Master and Commander sequel.
Yes, please, God.
Please.
We have to be recast now, but
I think some of the Foff faithful have thought I asked for like remakes as well, but it's fine. So Roel van der Velde goes Fury, but on a British tank regiment. It could be a sequel. Yeah,
it could be a sequel, couldn't it?
Yeah, that would be good. I think we'd just like to see any British war film at this point, please.
Yeah, would be nice, wouldn't it?
Keep seeing all these great young British actors in American films. I want some young British actors in some British films.
Warfare was made in Britain.
I know.
Can we have a British Warfare? I mean,
come on.
Yeah.
That says a lot about our own system, really, I think. Oh, crikey. Anyway, Ian P goes, I think there's a lot I'd like to see remade with a lot more reality and a lot less Hollywood drivel. He says maybe 633 Squadron could reform and attack a non-Tirpitz with highballs.
Okay.
That'd be cool. Yeah. David Alexander says Das Boot. Sequel to Das Boot. That'd be good.
Das Boot again.
Das Boot and harder. Rod McRae goes, a bridge too far too bridge too far. That'd be great. Isn't that just Operation Pegasus to get the lads out?
Yeah, or Black Hawk film. Let's go.
Come on. Yes.
Or Crossing the Roar.
Yes. Plunder film. Incredible. Harvey Griffith goes with Downfall 2, the Argentina years. That would be great.
I think they've made that, haven't they? Isn't there a film? Isn't there an Argentinian comedy that did that?
It might have done. That'd be brilliant. Ian Davidson goes Kelly's Heroes Solid Gold. More on that in a minute, Ian. Keep listening. Matt, you have X a million $4. What are you making a sequel to?
I would make a sequel to the amazing standalone film The Guns of Navarone. I would like to see what happened to the characters.
You're a bastard. You're a bastard. We got it. It's called Force 10.
Didn't happen. It's not much like the Die Hard films after 3. It doesn't exist.
You would deny Harrison Ford a credit to his good name.
Would
you?
Yes.
Bastard. Okay, so what's your sequel going to be about then? Come on.
Oh, maybe they go to occupied Yugoslavia and try and knock out a dam or something. I don't know. Or get mixed up with some partisans and I don't know. Just
you're gonna do it, but you're gonna option Anthony Quinn's memoirs, aren't you? And do that.
Yeah, that would be so much more fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, holding a Vickers gun tripod up there and leaving it in a cave.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, the Master and Commander thing is one that everyone that has seen that film has always yearned for.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're strictest sense of the question, we're not going to get that because it's too late now.
Yeah.
It'll be a reboot, hopefully,
It
if
would
it ever
be.
does. And there are murmurings. There have been for a number of years that something might happen. Force 8 from Navarone would be great.
It's that whole thing of certain numbers are funny, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's that. Yeah. So for me, harkening back to Ian Davidson's Kelly's Heroes Solid Gold, I give you my take on the Kelly's Heroes sequel we all should
I
have
feel
had.
the pitch coming on.
I've written a pitch, mate. I offer up to you, listeners, Kelly's Heroes Gold Rush, where we pick up immediately after the end.
I suggest the title Kelly's Gold Rush.
I like that too. Filmed in 71, was it 70, the first one? So filmed in like 73, 74, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get the second step of the adventure, the cast trying to get home with their gold. Oddball and his crew accidentally get placed into a Scratch Force battle group being set up after going the wrong way out of the town. And they not only have to fight their way out of that battle group, but back to American lines without having his beloved tiger blown up. So that I imagine in that scene, they would all go hatch down. You'd have Oddball doing some German accent, and they go like, "Oh, you must a taxi," and he's like, "Oh yeah, man, like yeah," like giving it all that spiel. And you got all the lads being like, "Well, we can't shoot American tanks," so they go, "Well, every time you see an American gun go off, man, just shoot a German tank." Kind of they do that. Then as a sort of two running plots, so you have Oddball and his gang trying to get back, right? But you have Kelly, Big Joe, and Crap Game being chased by the French resistance that want the gold to overthrow their political rivals.
Right.
And a ragtag bunch of German survivors from the town battle who want their slice of the gold. Do it a bit like a road movie.
Okay.
That's my pitch for the thing. Don't know if they get back or not. Don't know if they will
run
make
into
it.
the Red Bull Express. And all
Something
such
like that.
Things. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I could see it.
Yeah. And then you have like a sort of end kind of a la Fury Road type thing where they're all on a big road and they're just being chased and it's like a running gun battle.
Like Smokey and the Bandit, but it's World War II.
Yeah, like Death Race 2000, but it's Clint Eastwood hanging at the back of an Opel Blitz with a 30 cal, and someone does get killed by someone yeeting a gold bar at them,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
For sure. I think that's the sequel I would have loved to have seen. Someone get the rights and write that. At least write it. Come on. But anyway, another great end to another great episode. Warfare's out there for your viewing pleasure. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be bringing you a director interview of a very interesting movie called Dick Dynamite that we got we got made aware of a few months ago. And it's out soon on Blu-ray and DVD. But we're hoping the director can join us because that's a very interesting sort of grassroots.
A very different film to Warfare.
Very
but
different
very
film to
interesting
Warfare.
nonetheless.
But an
definitely.
interesting take on the genre nevertheless. It's very Wolfenstein meets,
It's on the nose.
sort of Inglourious Bastards. Really, really cool stuff. So yeah, do join us for that when that happens. I think that might be in May time. But yeah, join us again for another Fighting On film. As always, leave us a review and whatever you're listening on. Always helps a show out. Join the Four Faithful on Facebook and get involved in the chat. Join us on X or wherever you are, and we'll catch you next week for more Fighting On Film. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.